Dorki here. Today I'm going to talk about self-care. More specifically, I'm going to talk about my day. So today has been a pretty rough one for me. First of all, I've been struggling for several months now with really bad chronic pain from... It's not entirely clear anymore. It was a diagnosis of tendinosis, but I've just had an MRI which has sort of made that a bit murky, and now I'm just sort of waiting to see my doctor again to clarify why I'm in so much pain. I've also gotten some really bad news today. My sister's dog has passed away, and when I was a teenager I struggled really badly with a lot of mental health issues. A lot of it was about being an egg. For those of you who don't know that term, which was me like a month ago, an egg is a trans person before they realise they are trans. So when I was an egg, it was before I knew that I was trans. I used to often go outside, sit on the back veranda. I'd just been an absolute mess. A lot of depression, a lot of disassociation, which wasn't diagnosed at the time. The depression was, but the disassociation wasn't. He was not a patient dog. He was not the sort of dog who just sat and like cared about anyone. But when I was really upset, he would care about me, and he would be patient, and he would just sit there and give me the comfort that I needed at that time. And then when he decided I was feeling better, he'd just start biting me. He was a good dog. He was an awful dog. He was a very good dog as well. I still love him a lot. Yeah, I am very sad that he's passed. So today I needed a lot of self-care. So I'm going to talk about the strategies that I use today to look after myself. The first self-care thing I did today was I set aside some time to grieve. And then the next thing I did, which was somewhat a part of the grieving, I suppose, it was something that came up while I was grieving, was setting myself a goal. And this week's goal is fairly simple. It's a very important self-care, or just in general care, sort of step. So my goal for this week is for every of this week I have to have at least one good meal. Which is difficult, especially at the moment, because I'm in so much pain. I can't prepare food for myself, and I live out of home, so I've got to take care of myself. I need to get my own food, which means that when I'm in too much pain to get food, it's very hard to eat a good meal. Also, my medication has been making me very nauseated, and so there are days when I barely eat anything, or I'll just eat junk food throughout the day because I just don't have it in me to have a meal. So yes, this week my goal is one healthy meal every day, which is quite likely for a lot of the days all that I will eat, just one meal. So those are sort of the two things I did to start off my self-care day. I let myself grieve and be upset, and I set a goal, something that's obtainable, something I know I can achieve, but something that will be enough of a challenge that when I achieve it, when, not if, when I achieve it, I will feel proud of myself. The next important thing that I did for self-care today was, because I am upset, like especially today I am quite upset, so I found a social situation that I could get into so that I'm not just sitting alone in my room all day ruminating and being alone. I got in touch with my mum, and we agreed to meet up in the library and get some work done, which again gives me that sense of pride and fulfillment. And then she took me out for dinner, so there was that healthy meal that I needed. And also I got a fair bit of writing done, which was good. I also did some poetry about my feelings, a lot of it. So at the moment I'm working on a poem which is very depressing. It was supposed to be really funny and quirky and silly, but instead it's so bad. Like, it's good, but it's really sad. Really hard to actually write. So the setup is basically that it's about cis people's understanding of being trans. And so the title, at the moment at least, is The Surgery, you know, with a capital T, capital S, The Surgery. To a lot of cis people, I suppose it's like a day of transition is almost the idea that you're here, and then you transition to here, and that's it. Done. Whereas, of course, it's not like that. You don't start here and go here and that's it. It's a constant process of transitioning. It's that acceptance, the realization coming out, it's changing your wardrobe, it's maybe medical stuff if you want to go down that route, changing your name if you go down that route. It's just constant transitioning. So that's what that poem's about. And then obviously today, because of all the feelings about my sister's dog, I wrote a poem about that. I just sort of committed those feelings to words, which for me is really important. I think a creative outlet is really good for people to have. It doesn't even have to be a creative outlet as long as you've got an outlet. It can be martial arts, go punch a bag, or it can be yelling into at a cliff face, or I don't know, just have an outlet, a healthy outlet that doesn't hurt anyone, including yourself. In summary, my advice to people who need self-care, first of all, let yourself grieve. Let yourself feel what's going on. But set a timer for it. Give yourself 5-10 minutes to feel all of that awful stuff that's going on. And then ease off of it. So for me, what I'll do is listen to that really sad music, and then I'll have music that sort of staggers down a bit, that sort of eases back into relaxed. Setting realistic goals, but goals that will be enough of a challenge that you'll feel proud. That you'll feel proud when you achieve them. Not isolating. That's a really important part of self-care, making sure that you're not alone. And I know it can be really hard, especially with disability. If you're bedridden, like I've spent a lot of time bedridden recently, it's really hard and it sucks. And I'm a very social person, I can't do it. Make sure that you find ways to be social. At the very least, online, chat to people, have a phone call, do something. Making sure that you do things every day is important. So whether that's going for a walk or tidying your room, just make sure that you do something at least a little bit active to the best of your ability. Having an outlet is another key piece of advice that I would give. Have some sort of outlet, whether that's painting, drawing, writing like I do, or makeup, and just go easy on yourself. Look after yourself, love yourself. If things are really hard, reach out. Get someone who can help you, whether that's a psychologist or a counselor or a friend or a relative, especially if you're struggling to care for yourself. But you are worth it, and you are worth loving and being cared for and being cared about. Alright, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed my somewhat rambly video about my self-care day. Alright, see yous.